Hi everybody, I am Richa Batla. I welcome you all to today's story session. This is hosted on Telltale Tuesdays. I'm grateful to all the organizers, Dr. Preeti Sharda and her team, for inviting me to this platform to share my favorite story. So recently I have read this amazing story of The Go-Getter by Peter B. Kyne. The story motivates me in my work. The story gives me some thought of thinking and rethinking when I am stuck, when I feel that I cannot do it anymore. So the story tells you about not to give up. Keep trying, and keep trying. So now you can yourself decide that who should be the audience for this story. As the book itself says, that The Go-Getter is the book that needs to be added to every business person's essential reading list. But I would say that this book could be read by the students in college as well, who are aspiring for their career, people who are in very early age of their career, people who are still in the career like for 10 years or more, and the leadership team for sure. It will definitely give some insights to each one of us while I'll share the story from the book itself. So in this story, the go-getter, the person who is go-getter, his name is Peck. Peck has a lead role to play, but his role will come later on. There are three other characters who start this story. So the story is started with the old man's thought. This old man is the owner of a very big company. This company is into lumbering and shipping, huge business spread across various parts of the world. So this man, whose name is Cappy, and don't mind if I would just refer a few names in the book because it's difficult to remember the entire book. You can understand that. So this guy, whose name is Cappy, he is an old man. He has a big business and he is supported by his son-in-law, whose name is Pesley, and who is also supported by his president, whose name is Mr. Skinner. Now, Mr. Skinner and Mr. Pesley, whose name is Matt Pesley, are a young blood, and this guy who is Cappy Riggs is an old man. So this old man hardly visits the organization just to see that everything is going great. Rest of the administration and all the day-to-day work is taken care by these two guys, the young bloods, the Skinner and Pesley. Now, what discussion is going on when we start this story is about some sad parts that, organization has seen no growth in past few years. Freight charges are increasing. Losses are coming up. We are not able to expand our business. Question on growth. There are many things that they are discussing. And when they're discussing those business issues, the point that is coming up is the people. That what kind of people are we having? Why don't we have trained people? Why people are misusing our resources? Why people are wasting companies' money? And they could see that. And in the past, they had to lay off a couple of employees because of their wrong intention and wrongdoing. So he had all rights. This old man had all rights to ask his son-in-law and the president that why this is happening, what is happening. And now what major thing happened, that their very, very important employee, whose name is Henderson in this story. So Henderson's son did some big case, a big blunder in the organization. And they got to know the story that because of his personal gains, he used to waste the company's money and travel to places, etc. So they had to lay off him as well. And now that was a big question, that who will take care of Henderson's responsibility. So the men decided that, right now we don't have any ready resource and I think we need to hire people. So this old man said that why didn't you train your people? You should always have a support. You should always have a plan B for it. So now who is going to be the one? Then they said, Skinner said that I think Andrew could do this job. So he said, but Andrew, could he take decisions? Does he take initiatives? And all that leadership question, because that role is of leadership. So he said, I haven't tested him yet, but I feel that he can do so because he's doing his present job nicely. But then, old man is an old man, he's an experienced man. He said it doesn't mean that a person who is doing this job nicely, he would also do a higher responsibility when it is given to him. So then, a question came that you should always test your employee. While this blame game was going on, who should take up this big responsibility, and if Andrew goes there, then who would take up Andrew's responsibility? Andrew was handling something middle-level management there in the present role. When he would go abroad to China, he had to have some bigger role to play, but they were having a question whether he'd be able to do it or not. So the conclusion came like that either we find out a new resource where we have to find out who should be the right one, and since Skinner and that Pesley didn't have great experience in hiring the right leadership people, so they threw this particular responsibility on the shoulder of old man, that is Rick Scappy, that you take this responsibility. We are young people, we are not getting the right person, we have also experienced some failure, why not you take this role? So he didn't have much option, and he was somewhere also wanting to test the person on its own. So then Rick Scappy took up this responsibility, and meanwhile they thought that okay, for a time being, let's send Andrew to that role of Henderson's role there in China, and we'll see that whether he's able to do his responsibility well or not, but do tell him that this role is going to be temporary. So during that time, what happened that when they finished their discussion, there were arguments, definitely there were questions, and there were questions on performance, and there were like question on recruitment as well. The discussion ended, and now how it ended, that it was the old man's responsibility to find out the right person for the organization for that role if Andrew is a failure. Now what happened? Then Andrew went. Definitely there is a job position for Andrew also, but they didn't pay much heed to that job position because that was not important at that very moment. On the same time, what happened, like once the discussion was over, they received a phone call, and that phone call was by the receptionist, and he says that, sir, there is somebody who wants to meet you. His name is Mr. Peck, William E. Peck. So then the old man said that okay, send him to my room. By that time Skinner had left the place, and also so what happened, like when Peck entered to the room and he took permission to be seated, so when he sat down, then Gabby could see that his half body was not functioning, in a way that he was limping, his feet was not working, he had some injury in his leg, and also his half arm was not there. And a person, when he comes like that, he is sitting, and then straight away he asked him like, how can I help you? So he said that I am here for the job, and then by the way he said that, so Gabby could make out that I think that you are a person who cannot anticipate refusal, is it so? He said, yes sir, that is so right about me. After all, I'm a salesperson and I'm here to make sure that I'm able to sell whatever you make, but before I do that, it is important for me to sell myself to you so that you're convinced that I'm able to sell your goods there in the market too. So I'm just paraphrasing it, but the way he mentioned that so smartly, it added something to Gabby's head that okay, it was interesting. So more questions came up, more discussions came up, and Gabby also asked about that, how come he had to face his physical ailment this way, and he could share that because he was from the army background and there was war and there were fights, and that is how he had sacrificed his own body in that, and now because he could no more work there in the army, so he is looking for a job as a civilian, and he was really sad about his recent experience in one of the corporates where he did his 100%, he did his very best, but he was not rewarded the way he had to be rewarded, and later he decided that okay, moving is the right step for him. So he was looking for the job, desperately he was looking for the job, and it could be any job he could be given. He said that I right now want job and I can do any job that you would give me, whether it is of bookkeeping, whether it is of of typing, it was of any kind. So the person who was well experienced, he was there for around 20 years in army. He was an old man. He was not a young man at all. He was in his late 40s or 50, and he was then focusing on anything that could be given to him because job was more important. So the passion that Cappy saw in him, it made him feel, and it made him rethink about it, not about that big role where they had already thought of sending Andrew, but about Andrew's position, because now somebody was required who could manage what Andrew was doing. So then he called up his team. Now we have two people in his team, that is Besley, his son-in-law, and Skinner. So Skinner came up inside and Skinner said, I have taken his interview and he was rejected in the interview. Why is he here? So he told, yes, I was interviewed by Skinner and I was rejected. I was later being interviewed by Besley. I was rejected and now I'm here to discuss with you because I want to tell you that I really have very strong traits that your business is looking forward to. So he opened up his case and presented with all that figures and all what he could do for the organization, and he's ready for any role. So seeing his desperation and passion, they decided to give him a role. Though Skinner was not happy with the decision because he felt like the emotions should not come in business, whereas Cappy was having some heart for this man, seeing his physical state, seeing that he's from the army background, and then he thought, okay, let us test him. So while he got the job offer, this man, the old man whose risk Cappy told him that, sir, now just because you have told to get the job, you are getting the job. But I can assure you that you would be given huge pressure, you would be given big tasks to do anything and everything, irrespective of the ailments that you're going through. You would be treated as any normal employee in the organization. You would go through various tests and trials. So it is up to you whether you want to start your job or you still want to think. But he is very confident. He said, definitely I would like to work and I want to join. So that was one go-getter thing, that he was a very straightforward man. He knew that what he wanted, whatever is the circumstances. He accepted the job. The next question came up, how early can you join us? He said, in the next hour. Just after 1 hour, I'll join that. Now, this has happened. So then it was a discussion at 12 o'clock. That when they finished up the discussion and they gave him a job offer that, okay, you would be helping in these many chores and what all office work you would be doing. So finally he left, and he left for his work, whatever work he had to complete in an hour's time. And in between he just went to some mall, and there he found this man, Cappy, was also there. And then because like it was just next to the office, and he showed his business card to him. So basically when he took this 1 hour, he went to get his business card because in his mind he was so strongly decided that I am going to get the job here. So it was very beautifully written on his business card when he went and saw him, and he says that, okay, lumber, and it was like Rick's Lumber and Lodging Company, lumber and its product, San Francisco, represented by William E. Peck. So he didn't give any tag or designation to his title, but he had given represented by. So that means he was so confident. It was all gold, that some copper plated, and however that metallic plating was done, which was very much visible that this work cannot be completed in an hour's time. So when Cappy holded his business card, and he said that, since when were you trying to apply in my organization? He said, a week before. I decided in my mind that I want to work in this organization and I will try everything possible to meet you, to discuss with you that I do have a potential to apply. And that was pretty impressive that somebody who knew from very first day that I want to join the organization. At least I'll try my best and then we'll see what happens. So this was now Peter is selected. Peck was selected. Peck is in the organization. He is given the task, and the tasks are very critical. Now we'll discuss what happened next. So now the situation is that Skinner is supposed to give him as difficult task as possible so that he makes sure that the old man, Cappy, has not done a good thing while coming emotionally in taking decision of hiring somebody just seeing his physical ailment. But so what happened that he gave him those tasks that people don't like. He told him to those areas where people would like doing that kind of a job, picking up those kind of woods with smell, sting, and difficult to carry, difficult to sell. Hardly there is any buyer of that particular work that was given to him. Knowing his challenges, he was given this kind of a job. Now, because this guy, Peck, was so determined in his work, and which is one of the very important lessons for me to learn from this story, and that is the reason that why am I sharing this story, that his spirit of accepting anything, whatever is given to him, is amazing. So this man, when he was given the task like that, so what he did for 2 months, he couldn't, he took his time to be in the system, to understand what we do, where we sell, who are the customers, what are the freight charges, where all we supply, all that thing. So he understood the market for 2 months, and after 2 months his results started coming up. So what happened here, I would just read as it is. So he went to place and he was, wherever he was going, he was representing the company. He tried to get some order. So from Salt Lake City, he wired an order from 2 carloads of Lark Rustic, and Ogden, he managed to get some order. And then from Skinner, So Skinner was trying hard to get order from some places where he was not able to get. He made it possible through his artistic skills, through his selling skills, and also at a higher price. So that was also very amazing for him. So Skinner was really stunned seeing his performance, which was coming up after 2 months in the organization, understanding the system. And he could get the business from the places where it was really difficult for anybody to get, in that too in a very short span of time. So what happened? So after seeing his performance, so Mr. Skinner was forced to wire him for mercy and instruct him to devote his talent to the disposal of other work as well. Eventually, he completed all the work which was given to him, and he was successfully able to do that. So when this came up, Skinner had given him various challenges with some different intention, he proved himself in every that work with that determination that he had to do. So what happened, Skinner could not stop himself in calling to Cappy and saying that this guy is really a good guy. He has come up with 5 big orders in such a short span of time, from the areas that were difficult to crack, from areas where I was trying a lot since long time, and he had made it possible. Yeah. So when this happened, he said, now I think that we should raise his pay after a year because he has done a great job. So then the Cappy told him that why you have to wait for 1 year, since he is doing a great job? He must be rewarded in the next month itself, because he has proved himself more than you expected. We already underpaid him just to judge him, just to test him, and now is the time when you can really give him that motivation, because he also. So finally, as a result, his salary was increased because of his good work. Parallelly, they also discussed, Cappy and Skinner, about Andrew's performance, who was sent abroad in China market to set up an office, to continue with the office. So Skinner didn't give some good reviews about him, that he is very dependent on decision making. We keep on hearing from him every other day for every small decision that he has to take. So they were not not much happy with Andrew's performance. Parallelly, he was doing a great job. So then Cappy told that I want to test this guy even more. And for that, I want Skinner, you help me out with the complete plan that how we do it. So he prepared a complete plan in the sense that Cappy and Skinner together did. And for that, the next step was that Cappy had to call Skinner when Skinner is at home, he is sick. So that kind of plan that made. And now the story is really interesting, and our takeaway point starts from here. So they made a plan that this guy, Peck, who was doing amazing work, would be called at Skinner's home while Skinner is sick. He is staying and resting in his bedroom. And then he was told that you have to come sharp at 12:50 in the afternoon. So this man arrives. One of the great point that I learned from Peck is that he was very punctual. If he's given a time of 12:55, he will be there at 12:55. If it is 1:30, it is 1:30. There's no 5 minutes before or 5 minutes after. Maybe he could be 5 minutes before, but he will arrive there at their place exactly at 11:30 or whatever time is given to him. So being punctual is something which people really, really like in the corporate sector or in your professional environment, I would. So finally, the story of this hero now starts, where Peg was tested by giving him a job, a task which was not that too professional also. It was Cappy who had to gift somebody a blue vase, which was specifically available in that one shop, which has a specific address, and now this man was told that he has to get that vase. Now this man ran here and there to get that specific place and then get that particular shop and then that vase, which even he didn't know how to recognize. Today is the time when technology is available. Anybody can send a WhatsApp photo and we could locate the place anywhere or a location. But that time such things were not there. So he was just told that go to X street, Y street, and you will find this or that. And that's how he was figuring out. He went to that place. He couldn't see anything like that. And then he thought, okay, let me recall and ask him again that what is the exact address. And then he called him again. He was not at home. His maid said, even I don't know when he'll come back. Then instead of coming back, this fellow, what he did is he thought that let me go again and search again, because there was no other way out. So now think about, when there is no other way, he thought of, instead of sitting idle, instead of waiting, instead of not doing anything, coming with a no, let me go back to the place again. What he recommended. He went to X street, he went to Y street, he went to Z street, and then finally said, okay, if I am told to go to XYZ, there could be something, a different address. Let me go there. So he went to R, S, T, all that places where he was not even told, but because they were in the vicinity and he felt like maybe mistakenly he would have skipped to tell me the right address. So he went there. And finally, after going from one block to another, he could find there was an art shop where there was a vase. He was super happy. Job is done. Finally, on time. He was a very punctual guy. He is bringing the thing. Yes, man kind of a person. Now, when he knocked the door, the shop was closed. Nobody was coming out and he was disappointed. What to do? Now, anybody, what we would do, we would just sit. Sorry, boss. Not possible. Shop was closed. This man went to the hotel, the nearby hotel. He collected a telephone directory. He read the name of the shop there when he was standing. That was B. Cohen's shop. B. Cohen, Cohen's shop. So he went to the directory. He saw the total 90 names were there. 19 name. 19 names were there with the same thing. And now nothing was written that this is an art shop. This is not an art shop. He was figuring out at how to do it. So finally, he got his dollar converted into cents there in the hotel. He went to the telephone booth and called one by one on each number with all patience. When he called, most of them were the wrong numbers, then the numbers were not available, people were very angry, and then wrong numbers. Everybody have a different behavior or a way to respond, and they have all right to respond. So then finally, no number matched with the requirement. Then he felt what to do next. He said maybe had I really read the name correctly? Let me go back and check again. He felt that, oops, he made a mistake. It's not Cohen, it is Cohn. How could he misread anything? And already there's a short of time. So finally, again, he went to another hotel, took a directory, and there were 8 names with Cohn. He went back to the telephone booth, again doing the same job, and he was really tired. And especially when somebody having some physical difficulty, it is very obvious that the person would get irritated. People like us get irritated when the same job you're doing again and again, it's not working. We don't even go to that extent the way Peck has gone. So Peck called all those 8 numbers. People behaved very differently with him, and there were numbers working, numbers not working. Finally, there was one number which worked, actually, means in the sense they responded positively. And she said that, okay, Cohen has an art shop, but presently he cannot be available on the call because he has gone to Y's place for a dinner. If you want to speak to him, call Mr. Y. Now, this guy, Peck, what he did, he took the number of Y, he called to Y, and Y told that he did not make him speak because Cohen is busy having his dinner. Then he said, tell him that his shop is getting fire and he has to immediately help, and he has to immediately attend the call. Now, anybody who is told that, your shop is at place and anybody would listen to the news and respond and react to it. So he reacted. He came to the phone and he said, what happened to my shop and what happened to my art gallery? And he said, nothing has happened to your art gallery. I wanted to speak to you. I have that vase that I need to collect from your shop. It is very important for me. So tell me, how can I get it? Your shop is closed. I want you to come immediately right now so that I can collect it. Now he said that I cannot come at this moment, but you can call my employee whose name is so-and-so. So finally, the name of that fellow to whom he had to contact again, Peck had to contact again, his name was Herman Joost. Now, Herman Joost's number was given by that Cohen while having a dinner. When he called him, then somebody else picked the call and he said that this Joost has gone for a dinner in a country club. His mother called him actually, and mother answered the call when Peck called him. So, but mother was not knowing which country club, what is the address, there's so many country club here, then how would I find out? Then the same trial, this poor fellow kept on dialing all the country club, and finally he could connect to this guy which is named Joost, and Joost told that, okay, I can do that, but I have to first confirm Cohen that whatever story that you're telling is a true story. That how would I believe that anybody is a fake call or is a real call? So finally, he took his own time. He took his 30-40 minutes and again got back to it. And then he said that, okay, I'm arriving to that place around 9 o'clock in the evening. If you could come by 9 o'clock, we can solve this out. So finally, this happened and he was close to his destination. They finally arrived to that particular place. And when the vase was given to him, suddenly the price came up. What is the price? Now the price was like $2,000 that time, the price of that vase. But he had just $10 with him. Now he said that, what could be the way out? Can you please accept the check? He said, sorry, I cannot accept the check. I don't know you. I want the cash. Now that was also a problem. First of all, he had struggled so much to reach somewhere. Now because he didn't have enough money in his pocket, he didn't want to be refused. So he suddenly called Skinner to help him out because he's buying a mask, buying a vase for this man. And then finally Skinner could not help because Skinner said, I'm not well, there's nobody, and there's a Sunday, and how can I do this? I don't know. Same way he called Pesley, and Pesley also had one or the other reason to deny it. Now he was just wondering, what should I do? How should I get it done? Etc, etc, etc. Finally he told that if this man could accept a ring, so he had a diamond or a platinum ring with him in the hotel. He said that if you could just take that ring, value that ring, and if I could give it as a security. So he said, okay, we can try that, you can get it out. So then finally he went back to his hotel, he collected his ring, he came back there, he gave it, they valued it, it was like $2,500. Finally, then they exchanged that, and he got that vase, and then he kept it. And by the time the timing of giving was also over, so he arranged one of his friend to drop into a particular address where he could hand over the vase to this person. So all that journey happened, and I am very much now summarizing this because it's a very deep and a very lengthy story otherwise, and the kind of episodes that this man had gone through to get this vase. So finally, he arrived there at the station where this man was sitting, boarding a train for the vase, though this man arrived a little late than what he promised at time. But the situation was so critical that it was almost impossible for him to do this job. When he arrived there and he said, "Boss, this is the thing that I have done," Cappy was completely amazed with the thought that how can you do something which was completely impossible? And he said that, "Man, today you have won my heart." And when he told him that this all thing was